Hello, welcome to Friday Sews. I'm Christine, and today I'm going to talk about some recent makes, some sewing plans, a little bit about what I've been up to. So the first thing I want to talk about is the dress that I wore to my niece's wedding. She got married last Sunday, and oh my goodness, it was so hot. It was 93 degrees. I thought it was over 100, high humidity, and I wasn't sure how my dress I made would stand up. So I'm going to talk about all the details of the dress. So this is the dress. I sewed my third Lotta dress by Tilly and the Buttons. I used this fabric that was gifted to me by Minerva as part of the brand ambassador program. It is a linen cotton blend, and the pattern is Tropical Trails. I love the vibrancy of this dress, of this fabric. I got so many compliments on it. I really do like this. Now, when I first sewed this, I was a little bit on the fence about it. And I think some of those issues are just the style, and some is I put a tiny bit of weight on since the last time that I sewed this. So I sewed this in a size 10, and I made a couple of modifications. One, I lengthened the dress a little bit so that I could have a deeper hem. I thought that it might help the dress to hang a little better with a deeper hem, something a little heavier. And I made pockets that were not included in the pattern. I'm not sure how this is going to come up. Let me show you. So I wanted a pocket that would be big enough to hold something, and I really don't like the patch pockets that come with the dress. I am not a big fan of a droopy pocket. I know some people love them, and that's fine, but it's not for me. So what I did was I borrowed two pocket pieces from the loungewear set by Peppermint Magazine. It's a common stitch pattern. And I modified the top of the pocket facing a pocket back to match the top of the skirt piece. I'm really happy with how the pockets came out. They're nice and roomy. Let me show you how big it is. I can get my whole hand in here. So I did not want to bring a purse or a little bag with me. And I put my phone, my keys, and a handkerchief inside the pockets. And all the photos that I took all day long, those items were in the pockets, and you can't tell. So that, I think, was a good idea. I really like how it turned out. I tried to semi-match the pocket back with what was going on at the front so that it wouldn't be too noticeable. And I think it turned out pretty cute. For my facings, I did not want to have this strong pattern show through in the cream colored areas. So I just used some scraps of cotton lawn that I had, which also justified why we keep those little scraps. And then the same for the pocket bag. I used the white cotton lawn so that it wouldn't show through on the dress. In all honesty, I probably could have worn a slip underneath this. It's not sheer, but it's not totally opaque. I did wear some bike shorts underneath, as I usually do when I wear a dress, and it was way too hot and humid to put a slip underneath. I think this turned out to be a good choice for the wedding. The style lines, the dress does come away from the body, both in the top and in the bottom. So I didn't have the fabric sitting right up next to my skin. And because it is linen and cotton, it was breathing well. And it has not a super tight weave. I wouldn't call it loose weave. Let's see if you can see that. So it did breathe really well. I think I may have had one of the best choices of all the guests at the wedding. other than my smart cousins who brought umbrellas, because all of the chairs were in direct, bright, hottest part of the day, sun, and it was more than toasty. Charlie was also thankful I had tucked a handkerchief inside my pocket because he was sweating, just a river. And he nudged me, asked me if I had a handkerchief, which I did, and he mopped his brow. I told him he could keep it for now. And those pockets turned out to be a real winner. I mentioned I was unsure about this at first and wondering, did I make a mistake? And I think part of that is this dress in a woven fabric on me. And I'm not sure how to fix it other than I did adjust the neckline. So let me tell you what I felt was a little bit off on this. When I put the dress on, I feel like I have a lot of extra fabric right here. And all I simply do is just adjust this a little bit, and then I think it's fine. It was just that first moment when I took it off the machine, gave it a press, and slipped it on where, oh my goodness, I don't have a lot of time to make something else. I mean, I do have other dresses I could wear, but I really wanted a new one for the wedding, and I was really set on this fabric. So that was something that gave me pause, but as I wore the dress, I felt really confident in it. The other thing that I do think was a mistake was I wore this skinny leather belt with the dress, and it was fine in the first few photos. I didn't need the belt. I was just accessorizing this. And what I found was that the belt would shift and move. As I did mention, I did a lot of dancing, and there was the car ride and sitting here and there, that the top of the belt just came almost into my bust line, and it was not the most flattering look. So I wish that I had left the belt off. All in all, I'm very happy with this make. Now, this fabric was gifted to me. I do have a Minerva affiliate code that I'll put down here that will get you 10% off any purchase of Minerva. I get a small commission on that, but I just wanted to share it with you in case you do want to purchase something from Minerva. You can get a discount on it, and it helps me out a little bit too. So very happy with this make, and I was more comfortable in that than in many other things I could have chosen to wear. My other make in the last couple of weeks was another beach towel backpack. This is a free pattern by So Can She, and my third time making this. My middle grandson had a birthday, and he has requested this on multiple occasions. I'm going to be honest, I wanted to make sure that the first beach towel backpack I made was getting used and wasn't just sitting somewhere at the bottom of a toy chest or, not in use. And the oldest grandson and I made it together, the first one, and he used it every single day. And when I visited the last several times, I saw it hanging up in the mudroom on a hook. So I knew that this would get a lot of use. So I used some heavy cotton canvas. This was another Minerva brand ambassador make in the Tiger Paradise pattern. I had been eyeing this fabric for quite some time, so I was excited for an excuse to make it. It turned out really cute. My grandson was so happy to receive it. The only thing that I started second guessing myself on was that this heavy, sturdy fabric is going to get very wet being attached to a beach towel. And I'm wondering if that was my best fabric choice, only because it may take a little bit longer to dry when it's washed, but we'll see how it holds up. I do know it's excellent for a backpack. I did need to deploy some techniques to get this sewn up. I only ran into a couple of problems, And that was strictly mine in the making. I was being a little bit lazy. So instead of making the straps the way that she has you make them in the video tutorial, where you make the strap and turn it out, I decided to do it like bias binding. And so I folded it in and then folded it in again and top stitched it. And that was no trouble until I came to sew the bottom and into multiple layers. So I had 6 layers of fabric of heavy canvas in the strap, and then a couple of layers in the bottom of the bag, plus the towel. It was attaching it to the towel where I ran into a little bit of trouble, and it turned out okay. What I did was I used my hump jumper and I did the hand wheel as I went over the straps. I did not use the foot pedal, and it worked out fine, but I would not have been able to do it without a hump jumper. So sometimes you'll have a tool in your sewing toolbox that you don't get out very often, but when you do, you need it. And I definitely needed that hump jumper. So my grandson was super happy with it. I was very pleased to give it to him. I have a little bit of that fabric left over, and I think it might make a nice cosmetic bag. It's not enough to make a full-on bag, but maybe a cosmetic bag, we'll see. As to sewing plans, September is the month for Project Dress a Girl. This is a charity event being run by Maddie of Maddie Sews. If you watch other sewing YouTubers, you've probably started to see a stream of videos coming out, and mine is coming out on the 9th. I'm going to actually film it today, but part of my plans is to sew some dresses for little girls. These dresses go to girls who are living in extreme poverty. You can learn more about it in a video I'll link below and by watching the videos that will be coming out all month long. One of the things I love to do is to teach. And every once in a while, I will say I'm not going to do any more sewing tutorials on YouTube because they take a lot of time. But I've decided this is such a great project. I do enjoy teaching, so I'm going to be doing some little mini tutorials to show you some techniques, and they're not just for little girls' dresses. You can use them for other projects, including sewing for yourself. So that's what I'm going to be filming today. I'm going to do 2 tutorials, and there will be some coming out throughout the month, so stay tuned for that. In addition to Project Dress a Girl dresses, I have some things I want to sew for me. And the first one is going to be something very quick, something simple. Charlie and I are going on retreat soon, and I want a new journal cover. Something just inspires me about having a beautiful journal. So I picked up some composition notebooks, and I am going to sew myself a pretty and cute journal cover, and maybe I'll do a couple for my friends who are also going on retreat with me. We'll see how much time I have. I think that's something that I can batch cut and sew and really make pretty quickly and be a little bit of a fun thing. I have been so inspired lately, and I want to sew all the things. I am anticipating fall. It does not come very early here in South Carolina or Low Country South Carolina, but I am here for it and I am ready, and I want to sew some things for me for fall. So a couple of things that I want to sew for myself. One is the Davenport dress. I have been talking about the Friday Pattern Company Davenport dress since the day I saw it was released. I have the pattern pieces cut out, and I just need to get on with it. There's always been something that has come up, and I need to make that a priority. I also need to sew my Charlotte Frock Tiles dress. I've made my first muslin, decided I needed to go up one size and do a full bust adjustment on the Pleiades One dress by French Poetry. and that dress is not going to sew itself. I'm really kind of set on that dress for Charlotte Frocktails, so I need to get on it because we've got the retreat coming up. We've got a couple other little things, events that are going to take big blocks of time in the next 6 weeks. So I need to get to work on my dress, which is why I started early, but I need to keep that momentum going so that I finish the dress. I'm really looking forward to it. If you are going to Charlotte Frocktails or thinking about it, let me know in the comments section below. I know there are several of you going that I'm gonna meet up with. I can't wait to meet Lynn Gates in person. Of course, Izzy and her daughter Marianne and I have met in person before, and we've been friends for a while. I'm just looking forward to meeting as many of you as I can, so let me know if you are coming. Carol from Polly Sews, Cynthia from Mountain Accent Sewing. It's going to be a good time, and I want a beautiful dress. Something that has been exciting me has been exploring my sense of style of what it is that I like to wear. And it's kind of two things. I really love kind of the romantic, simple look, as well as classic lines. Something that I've been inspired to sew, I don't know how practical it is for me here in the South, is a linen topper. And you know, that could be practical in that we don't really have the need for heavy layers for long, and maybe a linen topper would be great. I was watching Cleo Williams' channel, and she did a travel capsule wardrobe, and she had this trench coat that she sewed very simply in linen. It was unlined, and it looked so nice. It really did. I loved the clean lines, and I thought it really elevated a simple outfit that she was wearing. I have to stop every once in a while and ask myself, how does something fit into my lifestyle? But then I come back to, I like to dress nice. And even if I'm not going anywhere like today, now of course I'm talking with you today, so I put on my hinterland dress, but I would wear this just on any old Tuesday, Wednesday. I like to dress nicely. And now don't get me wrong, when it turns cold, I love to wear the cozies. I love a pair of joggers and a cozy sweatshirt, but that is not my life. Strictly because I live in Low Country, South Carolina. So that's not something I get the opportunity to wear very often, but when it comes, I wear it a lot. So come winter, you're going to see a lot of sweatshirts and cozies and sweater dresses, because that is what I love to wear. And speaking of sweater dresses, my niece had asked for a lounge set, and let me show you the fabric I recently picked up to make a muslin number 2 for her on a lounge set. I needed an invisible zipper, so I popped into Joann's. They had them on sale, so I picked up a few. I have tons. I have a snake pit of zippers. That's a whole cube full of zippers, but I didn't have any 22-inch invisible zippers, which is what I need. So I picked up a few while they were on sale. And I also picked up this sweater fabric for my niece. I got 3 yards. This was in the clearance section. There is a little fault in it in the last half yard, right in the middle. So they did give that to me on discount. So this 3 yards was about $14. So it's not the super nicest fabric, but it's soft. I think she'll like it against her skin. I'm gonna be sewing her the Gia Lounge set by Violette Field Threads. I made just the vest to test out the size, and I didn't use a very stretchy fabric. This isn't super stretchy, but it has more give than what I had used, and I needed to size up. She's 12 going on 13 in the spring, and I want to make her this set plus a long line cardigan. We're going to see how far this fabric goes, and that's how long the cardigan will be. She's tiny, so I think 3 yards I should be able to get the top, the pants, and a cardigan out for her. Kind of excited about this. We're going to go see them for Thanksgiving, and I want to get this complete before Thanksgiving so that I can bring it to her and see how it fits. Anyway, so that's for the Gia Lounge set. That's somewhere in my plans, but my Frocktails dress has to take priority. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself in plans because I do like to sew all the things, but I kind of have some goals. I want to sew down my stash, and I have, if I would say healthy stash means a lot, but it's an unhealthy stash because it is a way lot of French terry. So I want to take a couple of days and really sew that down. Make some things for myself, make some things for family members so that I can reduce that stash because it is beyond out of control. I also have my Minerva make for this month. The fabric has shipped, and I'm going to be making the Lotta dress by True Bias. I've had my eye on that for quite some time. I've had the pattern for over a year, and I am getting some beautiful Ponte Roma, and that's what I'm going to use to sew it. This next 2 months, I think it's going to be about Frocktails, of course, Dress a Girl, and just reducing that French terry stash. And maybe by sewing all those cozy items, we will catch a break with this heat. I'd love to know what you're working on. Do you get distracted in your sewing like I do? And how do you wrangle that in, or do you just let yourself go? Until next time, I hope you have a joyful week and that you sew all the things. Bye.